Could it be that the Great Pyramid is a giant capacitor, a battery of sorts, quietly storing energy to be released in ways unknown to us? What if the pyramids, those ancient giants of the desert, hold a secret far wilder than just being tombs for kings? And what if the Egyptians, masters of stars and stone, had cracked a technology so advanced it would blow our modern minds? Is it all science, theory, or fiction? Welcome to Philosophy, Science, and Beyond, a place where curiosity meets knowledge. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of history's greatest enigmas, the ancient Egyptian pyramids. These massive structures, built over 4,500 years ago in Egypt's Old Kingdom, have fascinated adventurers, scientists, and dreamers for centuries. You've probably heard the classic tale. They were grand tombs for pharaohs, ensuring their journey to the afterlife. But what if there's more to the story? Picture this. What if these pyramids were designed to tap into electricity? A concept so futuristic it outstrips our modern imagination by thousands of years. Sounds like a plot twist from a sci-fi movie, right? Well, some bold engineers, historians, and researchers argue they might have been ancient power plants. In this video, we're going to explore this jaw-dropping theory, dig into the evidence, and unpack the heated debates lighting up the academic world. So, buckle up. We're about to flip everything you thought you knew about these legendary monuments. Over the past few decades, a daring, almost rebellious hypothesis has begun to take root, sprouting like a wild vine among a bold crew of innovative thinkers. Brilliant engineers with blueprints in hand, maverick historians who scoff at dusty textbooks, and even a handful of rogue archaeologists unafraid to challenge the sacred cows of their field. Together, they're researching a tale that flips everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt upside down, proposing with audacious confidence that those long-gone Egyptians weren't just pyramid-building masters. They wielded electricity in ways that shatter our conventional timeline, pushing back the dawn of tech to a time we've barely imagined. At the forefront of this electric revolution stands Christopher Dunn, an engineer whose mind is steeped in the precision of manufacturing, a man who sees gears where others see graves. In his groundbreaking 1998 book, The Giza Power Plant, Dunn steps into the spotlight with a claim that's as bold as it is breathtaking. The Great Pyramid of Giza wasn't merely a grand resting place for kings, a tomb to cradle their mummified remains. It was a cutting-edge machine, meticulously crafted to produce and channel electrical energy across the desert sands. He paints a picture of its intricate layout, those twisting shafts carved like veins through the stone, the echoing chambers deep within, and the carefully chosen materials that clad its bones, and insists it's no happy accident. To Dunn, every angle, every slab was a deliberate design, engineered with purpose to capture and amplify natural energy, perhaps even tapping into the Earth's own electromagnetic currents that hum beneath our feet, waiting to be unleashed. Christopher Dunn isn't just a solitary whisper echoing through this vast wilderness of speculation. He's got company, a chorus of bold voices adding layers to this mind-bending pyramid tale. Take N.I. Huntley, for instance, a thinker who steps into the fray with his 2000 masterpiece, The Original Great Pyramid and Future Science. He argues with fervor that the pyramid's architecture isn't just a pile of stones. It's a breathtaking testament to a masterful grasp of physics and energy dynamics. A structure so finely tuned it might hum with secrets we're only beginning to fathom. Then there's E.J. Sweeney, who ups the ante in his 2007 book, The Pyramid Age, tossing out an idea that's even wilder and more audacious. What if the pyramids weren't standalone wonders, but nodes in a sprawling, interconnected network, synchronized like a cosmic orchestra to funnel energy across the ancient landscape, pulsing through the sands of Egypt and beyond? These claims aren't just idle chatter, they're divisive, splitting opinions down the middle with their daring leaps, and yet they're fueled by tantalizing hints that refuse to be ignored. Imagine the possibilities. Clues etched into the angles, whispers in the stonework, shadows of intent that linger in the dust. So, let's dig into the meat of it. What exactly are the signs, the subtle threads woven into these monuments that suggest they were far more than elaborate graves for long-dead kings? All right, let's dive right into the deep end and kick things off with a jaw-dropping showstopper that's sure to grab your attention. The Dendera reliefs, a set of ancient carvings that have been stirring up a storm of fascination and controversy for years. Nestled quietly within the sacred walls of the Hathor Temple at Dendera, these intricate etchings aren't just pretty pictures. They've sparked a fierce, no-holds-barred debate that's got everyone from scholars to dreamers buzzing. Some bold visionaries look at these reliefs and see undeniable proof of electric ingenuity, a glimpse into a mind-blowing past where the Egyptians might have wielded technology we'd never suspect. Picture this vivid scene in your mind. Towering, majestic figures draped in flowing robes stand carved into the stone, their hands gripping elongated, bulbous objects that look eerily like oversized light bulbs, complete with wriggling, snake-like filaments twisting inside, glowing with mystery. These strange shapes are tethered by what appear to be cables, snaking their way to a rectangular box that sits there like it could be a power source, humming with ancient secrets. In their provocative book, Lights of the Pharaohs, authors Peter Krasa and Reinhard Habeck throw down the gauntlet with a bold claim. The ancient Egyptians could have lit their temples with electricity, casting light into the shadows with a sophistication we've overlooked. They point straight to these reliefs as hard evidence, arguing they depict a primitive yet ingenious bulb system that turns everything we thought we knew about the past upside down. On the other hand, let's pump the brakes and hold your horses for a moment, because not everyone's jumping on this electric bandwagon with wild abandon. In fact, plenty of sharp minds are far from convinced. Picture the scene. Mainstream Egyptologists, those seasoned scholars who've spent lifetimes poring over dusty scrolls and cracked stone, are pushing back hard against this tech-heavy tale. None harder than Richard Wilkinson, a titan in the field with a razor-sharp intellect. In his hefty 2,000 tome, The Complete Temples of Ancient Egypt, he lays down the law with unwavering certainty, insisting that those Dendera reliefs, the ones some see as ancient bulbs, are nothing more than symbolic artistry, masterpieces of meaning etched into the temple walls. To him, they're not tech manuals or blueprints for gadgets. They're likely vivid depictions of the god Horus, rising majestically from a blooming lotus flower, a powerful nod to Egypt's deep creation myths. Think rebirth, not circuits and wires. And here's the kicker that really drives his point home. Where's the hardware to back up these wild claims? After decades of digs, shovels slicing through sand, brushes sweeping away centuries, there's not a single scrap of evidence. No tangled wires snaking through the ruins, no clay batteries humming with ancient juice, no grids hinting at a power network. So we've got to ask ourselves, is this just a classic case of seeing patterns where none truly exist? Are modern minds projecting tech onto art? Or could it be that we're overlooking something monumental? A hidden truth, still waiting in the shadows of those sacred stones. All right, if those Dendera reliefs leave us scratching our heads and guessing in the dark, let's pivot and cast our eyes on the pyramids themselves, because they've got stories carved right into their bones. Take the Great Pyramid of Giza, a titan of stone that stood watch over the desert for millennia. Its shape isn't just a feast for the eyes. Those four steep, sloping sides rising from the sandy plateau to meet at a razor-sharp peak. It's a design that might be more than meets the eye, possibly functional in ways we're only starting to unravel. Think about it. Each slope angles up with such precision, forming a perfect pyramid that cuts through the air like a dagger pointing to the heavens. Some clever modern experiments, tinkering with scale models and energy waves, hint that this geometry isn't random. It can focus energy, gathering and channeling nature's invisible forces like a lens sharpening sunlight into a blazing point. So, here's the million-dollar question. Could the ancient Egyptians, with their uncanny knack for engineering marvels, have cracked this secret long ago? Did they craft the Great Pyramid not just to awe the world, but to amplify some unseen power, harnessing vibrations, currents, or cosmic whispers lost to time? It's a possibility that turns this monument into a puzzle worth pondering. Let's peel back the layers and talk about the materials that make the Great Pyramid such a marvel. Because they're not just random rocks stacked together. They're a masterclass in ancient ingenuity. Start with the outer shell. It's clad in Tura limestone, a pristine, pale stone quarried from across the Nile, famed for its top-notch insulating properties that could keep wild energy tightly in check, like a shield locking in secrets. Then, venture inside to the heart of the beast, the king's chamber, where the walls are lined with massive slabs of granite, a dark, speckled stone that's anything but ordinary. This granite is packed to the brim with quartz crystals glinting faintly in the torchlight, and here's where it gets wild. Those crystals hold a hidden trick called piezoelectric magic, meaning they can spark tiny jolts of electricity when squeezed or pressed under the immense weight above. Picture it, tons of stone pressing down, coaxing those crystals to hum with power. So, here's the big question. Did this clever combo of limestone and quartz turn the pyramid into a giant capacitor, a colossal battery of sorts, quietly storing up energy only to release it in ways we can barely imagine? It's a mind-boggling possibility that ties these materials to something far beyond mere construction. Whispers from the sands of time hint at a dazzling secret. A golden capstone that once sat proudly atop the Great Pyramid, crowning its peak like a jewel in Egypt's ancient crown. Gleaming under the fierce desert sun, a radiant beacon of polished gold that caught every ray and threw it back in a blaze of glory. Gold's no ordinary metal. It conducts electricity like a champion, effortlessly channeling currents with a power that's hard to ignore. So here's the electrifying question. Could this missing piece, now lost to history's shadows, have served as more than just a shiny ornament? Acting as a mighty antenna perched high above the Giza plateau, beaming energy outward into the vast sky or drawing in mysterious forces from the cosmos like lightning summoned to a rod, can be? Though that golden crown is long gone, perhaps looted, buried, or melted down centuries ago, the very idea of it sparkles with possibility, casting a shimmering golden glow over this wild theory of pyramids as ancient power hubs. It's a glimmer of wonder that keeps us guessing. Let's plunge beneath the surface now. Because when you dig deeper into the Great Pyramid's inner workings, its guts reveal a labyrinth that's even more intriguing than its towering exterior suggests. Imagine peeling back those massive limestone blocks to expose a network of narrow shafts, meticulously carved and twisting through the stone like ancient veins. They don't just sit there. They align with uncanny precision to celestial beacons like Orion's belt and the blazing star Sirius, guiding lights in the night sky that have dazzled stargazers for millennia. Some bold thinkers argue these passages did far more than offer a window for pharaohs to stargaze from their tombs. They whisper that the shafts might have channeled something intangible, something beyond mere vibes, perhaps the subtle hum of sound waves or the invisible pulse of cosmic energy streaming down from the heavens. Picture the pyramid's layout as a masterfully tuned instrument. Its chambers and corridors, carved with exacting care, could have buzzed and hummed with a mysterious resonance, transforming those hollow spaces into amplifiers that captured and magnified an unseen force rippling through the earth and sky. It's a tantalizing thought. Could this be architecture singing with purpose beyond what we've ever imagined? Now, let's shine a light on a downright puzzling oddity that's got everyone scratching their heads. Step inside the pyramid's inner chambers, and you'll find them eerily spotless, pristine, with not a speck of soot or a smudge of smoke stains marring those ancient limestone walls. Picture the scene. Workers toiling away in those tight, shadowy spaces, chiseling stone and hauling blocks for years on end. If they were using flickering torches or oil lamps to pierce the darkness, shouldn't there be grime everywhere? Where's the telltale black residue? The smoky fingerprints of fire that you'd expect to cling to every surface after all that labor. It's a baffling quirk that refuses to add up, and it's fueling some seriously intriguing theories about how those chambers stayed so clean. Could it be evidence of alternative lighting? Something wild like electric illumination, perhaps, glowing bright without a whisper of ash or grease? The idea that the Egyptians might have wielded a traceless light source is a spark that keeps the debate burning, hinting at secrets still hidden in those silent, unblemished halls. Hold on a second. Let's pump the brakes on this electric pyramid theory. Because not so fast, says the renowned Egyptologist Zahi Hawass, a towering figure in the world of ancient mysteries with a flair for dramatic rebuttals. In his celebrated work, The Magic and Mystery of the Pyramids, he steps into the debate with a confident swagger and a counterpoint that's hard to ignore. He tackles that curious lack of soot in the pyramid chambers head-on, dismissing the wild idea of ancient light bulbs with a wave of his hand. No soot? Don't jump to crazy conclusions. That's just clever ventilation at work, whisking smoke away before it can even settle. It's a neat, tidy explanation, delivered with the assurance of someone who spent decades crawling through tombs and deciphering Egypt's secrets. He paints a picture of air flowing smoothly through hidden channels, a practical design by brilliant builders who knew how to keep their sacred spaces pristine. But here's the nagging question that lingers. Does this theory really hold water when you think about those tight, twisty passages snaking through the stone? Can ventilation alone explain it all? Or is there more to tease out from the shadows? Now let's step into the spotlight of brilliance and meet Nikola Tesla, the electric wizard who electrified the modern age with his audacious imagination. It's 1901, and Tesla unveils his ambitious Wardenclyffe Tower on Long Island, a soaring structure crowned with a pointed dome designed to beam power wirelessly across vast distances, a feat that still sounds like magic even today. Doesn't that sharp skyward design remind you of something? Yes, it mirrors the iconic pointed silhouette of the ancient pyramids, those timeless giants of Giza rising from the desert sands. Tesla wasn't just tinkering with gadgets. He dreamed big, envisioning a world where he could tap into the Earth's own boundless energy, pulling power straight from the planet's core like a modern-day sorcerer. Does that ring a bell? It's a vision that echoes eerily with the wild theories about the pyramids as energy hubs. Some daring minds speculate that Tesla, with his insatiable curiosity and knack for seeing beyond the ordinary, might have cast his gaze back to Egypt's distant past for inspiration, wondering if those ancient architects had already mastered a trick or two about harnessing nature's electric pulse. Nikola Tesla reportedly spent countless hours poring over the ancient wonders of the world. And yes, that includes the awe-inspiring pyramids of Egypt. He hunched over dusty tomes and faded maps in a dimly lit study, his sharp eyes tracing the outlines of those monumental structures, theorizing with feverish intensity that they have been built to harness the planet's own invisible currents, its pulsing electric heartbeat. Though history tells us he never set foot on the sands of Giza, never stood in the shadow of the Great Pyramid to test his wild ideas firsthand, his vision of a conductive Earth, a globe alive with energy waiting to be tapped, lines up in an almost uncanny way with the alternative theories we've been exploring. Could this eccentric genius, with his unkempt hair and relentless drive, have peered through the mists of time and cracked an ancient code lost to the ages? Did he, in his solitary brilliance, uncover a thread connecting his futuristic experiments to the ingenuity of a civilization long gone, one that might have wielded electricity beneath the desert sun? Although it would not be right to ignore Nikola Tesla's theses about the pyramids, his thoughts are still a mystery, except for 5 to 10 pages of information. Let's pause for a reality check, because not everyone is jumping on this wild pyramid power plant bandwagon. Skeptics, armed with years of rigorous study and a healthy dose of doubt, aren't buying into the electric dreams spun by alternative theorists. They stand firm, arguing that the pyramids were nothing more or less than tombs, pure and simple, built with sweat and stone to cradle Egypt's mighty pharaohs in eternal rest. Their case is rock solid, they say, backed by a treasure trove of evidence dug straight from the sands. Mummies wrapped in linen, their decayed faces whispering tales of royal lineage, glittering hoards of treasures, golden masks, jeweled amulets, and fragile scrolls, tucked beside them as offerings for the journey beyond, and ancient texts carved deep into the walls, spelling out vivid stories of the afterlife, with boats sailing across starry realms guided by watchful gods. These scholars scoff at the notion of blueprints for some grand energy machine hidden in the hieroglyphs. Where's the proof, they demand? No trace of wires, no hint of coils, no whiff of a power grid has ever surfaced in the endless excavations. To them, it's all devotion etched into the enduring stone, a testament to faith and kingship, not a flicker of futuristic tech. The pyramids, they insist, are monuments to the dead, not miracles of forgotten science. Now, let's zero in on Richard Wilkinson, a titan among Egyptologists, who's not budging an inch on this Dendera debate. He's doubling down with the conviction of a man who spent decades deciphering the secrets of ancient Egypt. He's adamant. Those so-called bulbs carved into the temple walls at Dendera aren't some clever gadgets dreamed up by fringe theorists. They're lotus flowers, pure and simple, cradling the birth of Harsamtis, the divine child of Hathor and Horus. To Wilkinson, it's not even a close call. This is art pulsing with a deep spiritual heartbeat, a sacred snapshot of mythology frozen in stone, not a wiring diagram for some lost technology. He argues that every curve, every line in those reliefs speaks to a cultural tapestry woven with reverence and meaning, not volts and circuits. With a knowing glint in his eye, he dismisses the electric fantasies as a modern misreading of ancient intent, urging us to see the beauty of Egypt's soul, rather than chasing shadows of imagined machinery. Here's the real kicker that stops this electric pyramid theory dead in its tracks. There's no hardware to back it up. Absolutely nada, zilch, nothing at all. No tangled cables buried in the sand, no ancient batteries tucked away in forgotten tombs, not even a whisper of a circuit board or a power switch carved into the stone. If the ancient Egyptians were truly wizards of electric technology, crafting pyramids into humming power plants as some dreamers insist, then where's the hard proof to seal the deal? Picture archaeologists, gritty, sun-scorched folks with shovels and brushes, digging tirelessly through the shifting dunes of Giza, their hands pulling up treasures from the past. What do they find? Clay pots with cracked rims, stone tools chipped from long use, maybe a few beads or a broken spearhead. Everyday relics of a bustling civilization, sure, but not a single shred of a power grid or a generator. Years of excavations, mountains of sand moved, and still, the haul is all about daily life and death, not volts and watts. The skeptics lean on this hard truth. If there was tech this advanced, shouldn't we have stumbled across something, anything by now? It's a glaring absence that looms as large as the pyramids themselves, casting a long shadow over the wild claims. So what's the final verdict on this mind-bending saga? The idea of the ancient Egyptian pyramids doubling as power plants is nothing short of a thrilling roller coaster ride through history's wildest corners. Think about it. Those enigmatic Dendera carvings hinting at ancient bulbs, the quartz crystals nestled deep within the granite chambers sparking with potential, and the haunting echoes of Nikola Tesla's electric dreams. All of it weaves a tantalizing tapestry that's hard to resist. It's a story that fires up the imagination, making you wonder if we've overlooked a secret humming beneath those massive stones for millennia. But hold on, mainstream scholars aren't swayed by the dazzle. They're digging in their heels with unwavering conviction. To them, these aren't machines buzzing with lost tech. They're solemn monuments, painstakingly crafted to honor kings and ensure their eternal reign in the afterlife, backed by cold, hard evidence like mummies and gold. The clash is epic, a battle between daring speculation and grounded tradition. So where does the truth lie? It might stay buried forever under layers of sand and time, locked away in the pyramid's silent embrace. Yet that very mystery is what keeps us hooked, endlessly curious, peering into the past for answers. What's your take on this epic debate? Do the pyramids hide a forgotten power, or are they just royal tombs? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I can't wait to hear what you think.